Hi, I suppose I am audible to everyone. Everyone can see me and hear me. This is Ashok Sagar Bhagat. Today I'll be talking to you about my journey in the world of theatre for last 44 years. My journey has been a journey of understanding visual communications with a subconscious mind, the art of sets and light design. All my working on stage has been much before the audience was even allowed into the auditorium. Most of my time during this theatre voyage, I have been spent sitting in a dark room behind the audience known as a lighting booth. In that dark room, we would whisper in such a hushed voice that not audience could ever know that there is a soul behind them. My eyes were glued on the stage and everything happening on it, silently complementing the action of the play, words said, even the hidden meaning within, with a very, very subtle change of light. That goes unnoticed to the greater majority of the audience, but it led their subconscious mind to the desired action of the play and mood and thought of the play. See what an irony. When everything has come to stand still, this magic of light is nowhere to be seen. No one is even sure when will I or anyone else have the opportunity to show this magic of light. And its mystic word. I am sitting in front of you talking about lights and its mystic word. Let me be honest with you, I am too nervous. It seems to me to be a job of an actor. Well, some of you who have known me as a theatre teacher will say, what about my classes? Well, to be honest, that's a limited group of known people. Moreover, they believe that I know more than them. Here I know there are so many who know a lot more than me, and well, I'll be adding to it. So they would ignore my fumbles, bad pronunciations. I can even bully them. Moreover, I go well prepared. Furthermore, I use a lot of visual material. I use a lot of slides. I was planning this session also in the same format. But once I understood the format and we decided that format, that this would be Chai-Wai and Charcha and RangManch, I decided to go with a Charcha only, a talkie session. But I cannot go extempore. So for the sake of my confidence, I have outlined a script. I'm in a way reading that script constantly. So I'm not, looking at your comments much, but well, I'm welcoming you all. I'm seeing few comments down there. Well, coming back to my topic, when the sea is rough, the fishermen cannot go out for fishing. They sit at home, mending their old fishing nets and making new ones. I suppose it's that time now that we share our experiences and our understanding that has driven us so far. Explore and peep into the minds of our co-artists. Knowing their thoughts, the study of theatre stands witness that there have been many such times when theatre practice was stopped due to varied reasons, political, social, and other, even during plague periods. But theatre came back as a much stronger and advanced form. I'm sure will also bounce back very soon, much stronger and much more vibrant. I suppose for this session, for first 20 minutes or something like that, I'll be talking to you about my journey in theatre, my growth story, and I'm telling you about that, highlighting what I got beyond our known theatre books and how. The journey of understanding visual communication with subconscious mind, the art of lights and set design as it is to me. Thereafter, I'll take up your questions. I'm not sure question is the right word, but I cannot find an appropriate word. So please let it be. Please note your questions. I'll take them up at the later part of the session. To start with, I would like to thank Mr. Jaydev and Coconut Theatre for inviting me for this session, giving me an opportunity to explore new medium, sharing the experience of my journey with lovely people like you all. I'll not share what all disasters I made, how all I tried my level best to destroy myself, but will talk and share my success story, or say the story of my being lucky. The story starts in 1976 when I got selected to National School of Drama. Why did I apply for National School of Drama? And how I was selected to NSD is unexplainable. I would say all that was destiny, my good luck. Even today, sometimes I think there must have been some mistake somewhere. But well, I was there in NSD. I was the worst actor of my batch, misfit in that lot, struggling hard to find my space in that environment. It was not that my batchmates were mean to me. It was very supportive batch. I am indebted to all of them for their understanding and relentless support. It was my complex that held me back. I had to survive in that world. I could not afford another disaster in my life. I had to find something in theatre for my existence, for my survival in that competent world. Here my monkey skills came very handy. I can and could climb up anything and was never afraid of heights. Most of the energy plays at that time were performed in National School of Drama Open Air Theatre. No. They are getting my sound. I've been informed here that I'm not audible. I am audible. Hello? Can anyone tell me that are you hearing me? I have no such comments which says that I'm not audible. There are comments that you're not audible. There's something wrong with your system. They are saying I'm audible. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you. There was Dinesh also. Thank you, Dinesh, for being there with me. I love it. Thank you very much. I'm once again starting from the same point that here my monkey skills came very handy. I could climb up anything, anywhere, and was very efficient with that. Was never afraid of heights. Most of the energy plays at that time were performed in NSD Open Air Theatre Meghdut. The lights were hung on People Tree, as I don't know, some of you who are oldies know it. So there I was. This was my opportunity, my existence. I was climbing up and down the tree, hang lights, virtually working for all NSD productions of that time as one of the light assistants. Lights were becoming part of me. I started reading available books in NSD library, understanding the 5 functions of stage lighting. Most of the books of our time and that time referred to 4 or 5 functions. Now when I will talk about myself, I now believe that there are 9 functions. I'll come to that much later. In my story, you will slowly and steadily आ रही है लोगों को आ रही है आवाज. It's okay. Let it be. I'm seeing it here. Sorry, my son was trying to help me. So I was with him. Okay. My subject teacher, Shri G.N. Dasgupta, was very supportive. But my senior, Jameel Ahmed, became my torchbearer. And he was my first formal teacher. His passion and romanticism has given me the driving force ever since. This was a period when School of Drama did not have any regular electrician. There was a part-time electrician, Makhan. For all electrical wiring and connections, we had to wait for him. Here too, my luck played a very vital role. My elder brother, Adarsh, was studying in IIT Delhi. He became my teacher for electrics and also taught me how to maintain our lighting equipment. Now, with monkey skills, I was an electrician too. I was finding and making my space as a light person. I was being noted by those around me. Mr. Ibrahim Al-Qazi, our director, the director, National School of Drama, was a great teacher. Was a great teacher. My relationship with him was of love and contradictions. I am knowingly using word contradictions. We had too many arguments. His summoning me to his office was normal. He even treated me with lunch meetings at Triveni cafeteria, dinner meetings at his house. Those who were in NSD during Al-Qazi time know very well what does a lunch meeting or a home dinner meeting meant. You were really, this was a time when Al-Qazi would really have your silent class. So these meetings were highly educating. He wanted me to report everything to him, what I was reading, what I was doing in my spare time, how I'm dealing with this, how I'm dealing with that. I just hated it. He wanted to arm hold me, but I was not ready. I wanted to learn my way, grow at my pace. But that great teacher gave me so much that I'll remain indebted to him throughout my life. It was not just in the classrooms, my special moments. The Brahmvakyas were in the lunch and in the dinner meetings. Around the campus, anywhere, anytime. It was his firing, it was his jokes, or even in his sarcasm. To cut this long story short, I'll just share two very special incidents which were turning point for me. One day, all of a sudden, he calls me to school corridor. He appreciates one of my lighting works and asks me, when will I stop taking shortcuts? Start using the real magic lights. On my asking, what does he mean? He told me that I'm using too many colors in lights, whereas the magic of lights in shades of lights, key light and fill-in light, trying different angles. That was a new beginning. After so many years, now I understand that magic of lights is in creating shadows and then filling them in. We've always talked about shadowless lighting. Here I am contradicting that word only. I'm saying create shadows and fill them in to a level and to a latitude. The second magic wand he gave me was, he forced me to do a lot of paperwork for lights. My projects tossed at my face. The lighting layout plans, dimmer distribution charts, the advanced cue sheets, etc., etc. In the beginning, to me, it was a totally unwanted job. Seems time wasted, but very soon I started understanding the magic of it. Now, believe me, till date, for all my lighting projects, I do a lot of paperwork. Everything is preconceived, pre-planned. I would even post my plans to the auditorium staff and the staff I'm working for and I'm working with. I knew what I'll do, how and why. The engineering inputs from my IITian brother was becoming very handy here too. He even presented me a drafting tools such as mini drafter, drawing board, even a set of rotring isograph pens. This made me one-up. It has been this skill which became very handy when I started working on international theatre festivals and other international festivals with ICCR, SNA, and even NSD. I was the choice of these festivals because of this skill. My electrical and mechanical skills were also getting me a lot of respect from local hall technicians, helping them with their work was my pastime. It was also very great learning experience working on any production with any group, and even sometimes maintaining the lighting equipment of the auditorium. So the auditorium people were also very kind and nice to me. Kamani Hall stop helped me seeing the great lighting master Tapat Sen's lighting magics happening. They would usher me quietly to the backstage. It was virtually impossible to go to the backstage when the performance was on. So I would sit in a corner quietly and see the techniques being used. These magics influenced my work for some time. Even tried some of them. One incident was with Theatre Maestro Habib Tanviji's play. I did lights for Sutradhar 77. Habibji virtually said the same thing as Mr. Al-Qazi. Why I am taking shortcuts. He's looking for some intelligent light from me. Oh my God, intelligent lighting. So it was a very difficult word at that time. By this time, NSD also, I was being taken as a serious light designer. Bajju Bhai, we call him Bajju Bhai, known as Professor Ram Gopal Bajaj, entrusted his play Sikand Gupt's Lights to me. When we were doing lights, and our first show was in Kamani Hall. For the first show, Bajju Bhai stood in the lighting booth, hanging out of that booth's window. He wanted to see the show from there so that he could get intensity variation finalized. For one particular long scene, we had decided that we'll play the whole scene full bright. So as the scene started, I faded all lights to full. Bajju Bhai was happy. As the scene progressed, after some time, Bajju Bhai whispers, more light. I did not know what to do. All dimmers are already full. This was an era of manual dimmers, auto-state dimmers, with rods attached to them for operations. One of the Kamani staffs, one of those people who were helping me, came to my rescue. He just loosened one of the rods. So there was some noise and he asked Bajju Bhai, is it okay? Bajju Bhai responded in affirmative. This happened twice more. This was a cue for me that there is something beyond actual light intensity that is playing a role here. This is where my exploration of visuals started. Bajju Bhai gave me another important line also. When I was struggling for realism, he said, for realism there is cinema, theatre is Natya Kavya. The poetry, you have to do the poetry with lights. Well, it has been an ultimate line. Thank you, Bajju Bhai. I know there's a lot more to thank you for. I have had a very long association with Bajju Bhai. Every production was an experience and was an addition. But these two were really the game changers for me. These were where I was exploring myself in altogether another format. There has been many small incidents. Some I am taking up and down also. Means they are not in chronology. Well, there was one such edition. Mr. Prasanna did Ek Lok Katha with us. This was our second year. We were doing simple line projections onto the screen in a set. There were simple line projections, and now what projector? How to use this projector? We were experimenting it, and lights had to be precise. No shadows on the projections. We had to avoid that. We had to cut areas, and then there was in and out in the play also. So this provoked me to understand optics, understanding the very finer details of lighting equipment and their functioning. So I learned that, even modified some of them for my purpose. For that play also, I remember that on a normal stage projector, that huge projector old people would know, on them I had used a baby long reach neck. And this is what we were experimenting with, and it became part of me. Mr. Mohan Maharishi, he introduced me to the concept of underlining the hidden meaning of the play. Those who have worked with Mohan Maharishi will tell you that he really works on the subtext of the same play. I had worked on Othello with him 3 times, and all the 3 Othellos were different. And the same way Einstein done with NSD Repertory, we did it twice. But if you see that play, both the times, everything has changed. The dialogues are same, action is different, and somewhere the meaning of the play and the way it is communicating is somewhere different. So that's what I learned from him. So working with him was where I finally understood that what do we mean by intelligent lighting. That was in Aadhe Adhure also. In Kini scene, I remember that the papers getting bigger. So that was something, it was that I was learning that. This was a great experience. So he took me beyond, he took me to the meanings of the play. And he also pushed me towards books once again. You have to read the cross references. You have to understand what others are writing about the same character and how do you manipulate that and understand that. Well, I had the pleasure of working with Kathak Kendra also. The productions of Pandit Birju Maharaj, the great dance master, somewhere I call him my guru also. It was a great experience working with him. And working on dance was altogether another experience. It was no more that slow fade in and slow fade out of theatre. It was as per beat, as per rhythm of the production. This insight was further consolidated by Ranjit Bhai when I did lights for his play Khubsurat Bahu. And I was getting into a new era where what we had learned, slow fade. No, I was on to the rhythm of the play and on to the rhythm of the scene, and accordingly, my fading speed was changing. I was understanding the role of lights in the rhythm of the play. Now, when I look back at my journey, my God, there's so many people that have contributed in my being, my making. My gratitude is due to all of you. Please forgive me for I'm not accrediting you by name for the want of time. But every production, every director I've worked with was contributing in my making. The major change, the whole understanding came when I was invited by Shri Bansi Kaul to teach lights in his workshop at Pune. There was a medico doctor, one of the participants in the workshop. And when we had many discussions, we were talking about lights, and he gave me the view how we see and what we see. And we had really great discussions. That were the eye-openers. He gave me some notes on how we see also. Some photocopies from sub-books. how does eye function. This was the first time I was really knowing the eye. He also presented me a book named Five Messengers to the Brain. Now I was on to a new journey, onto a journey which I was exploring the relation between lights and eyes. I read many books. One of the name-worthy would be What Do We See and How Do We See? This book was also recommended to me by my late guru, Shri H.V. Sharma. And this book was a very, in money, it was a very cheap book. This was a Russian book from that PPB, the People's Publishing Book House, which was there in Connaught Place. So this book really opened my eyes, gave me a whole new world. I don't know if you can, those who are interested in lights, if they can lay their hand on this book. There was another beautiful book which I read, and I would recommend to everyone, anyone or everyone. It's a book which is not on science but on equipment and the actor, designer, director relationship. Throw some light on the subject by David something. I'm sorry, I did not note this book. This says just hit my mind at this time. So I'm sharing this with you. Now to me, there was lot more in lights and sets than just creativity or beautification. It was a complete language which was complementing to the action, spoken words, hidden meanings within the whole script. Now to me, design is the process of selecting and organizing elements or components in order to fulfill a specific purpose. This purpose may be functional or aesthetic, and most of the time and frequently they are both. To me, whatever we see is a reflection of light. Light is an energy which is visible or reactant to human eye. So to me, reaction to human eye was becoming most important. And I was somewhere when I talked to my friends and to my colleagues, I say the art of lighting is actually an art of controlling the eyes of all those sitting in the auditorium. So everything is happening to their eyes, and light becomes my tool or instrument to make that happen. Now, color to me was not just a color. It was a wavelength. It is a wavelength which reacts to human eye, and its reflection and addition, its subtraction from the light, that was becoming important to me. To me, now it is a process to communicate with mind of audience. Visual behavior of eye became very important study for me. A complete visual language came in existence for me. There were now new vocabulary of words for me. So in my lighting, in my design, these words became very, very important. Perception, space perception, perception of movement, perception of visual illusions, perception of color, perception of brightness, visual adaptation, visual jerk, visual hold or freeze, visual radiation, visual latitude, visual fatigue. Explaining each and every word would take 30 to 40 minutes. And to understand them, I'll have to show you some slides. So cannot be done in this, but in Churcha, these are the most important words which I would like you to toss them and know them somehow, and you will understand what I'm meaning. These words became part of me. These are part of my methodology to communicate with the subconscious mind of the audience. To me now, there are 9 functions to stage lights, as I said earlier. To me, the first one is concealment. That, why did we go indoors? Why at night? Why do you darken the auditorium? So it's concealment. The fade out is concealment. You have to be very, very sure how are you concealing it. Then comes the visibility. Then is that, okay, what you want to show, how much you want to show. Uh, some people use the word illumination, but I don't want to use the word illumination because I'm going beyond it. I'm making particular thing visible. Even if you say that I am talking of the era of revealing light or the era of present mood light. Now, mood and atmosphere. Plausibility or the realistic effect. Three-dimensional or plastic quality. Compositional light, area lighting. Now, to me, new, as I said, the new things adding. These are my new things which I talk about now. Re-emphasis of theme and underlining the action. Re-emphasis of the theme of the play, scene, and underline that action is very, very important and has to be done very subtly. Art is not in speaking a word or making it too bold. It is that people know it and people don't know that it is what is said and what has happened. So, maintenance of interest. And then last but not the least, aid to designers and directors. Director sometimes comes to you with a request, okay, yaar, in this scene, this actor is overplaying. So avoid it. This also, if I have to give an example, I don't know, I'll avoid that example because there are two friends involved in it. But well, sometimes it happens that, okay, emphasis from one actor to another actor is given. And the actor, even who is the main actor, is played low. And then sometimes the designers would come to you and they will say, yeah, that they have done some mistake and they would like you to cover it up because lights come the last so they can cover it. Now, I think I've spoken a lot, and as we started late also, and then I think it has been around 25, 24 minutes because somewhere I went lot extempo also. So now I'll close what I have to say. Now I am reading your comments, and please, if anyone has any questions, I'm open to them. Anyone would like to ask anything, so you may please write on it and I'll be with you. Anyone wanting to talk something? Hi, Raghav. So I don't think anyone has any question. Thank you for all of those who were with me. If someone would like me to explain something, you're most welcomed. Oh, sorry, I did not scroll it. Okay. Oh, which one was my best lighting? I'll not do that. That would be very mean of me and would be, not in right sense because because uh, because because all plays had something special and this was something which constantly was done. Okay. Light dimension, if I can differentiate. Well, dimension, what would you mean by dimension is a big question. We go slow. I'm taking up this, then I'll come to Gaurav, and then I'll go further. Dimension, you may say the shape of light. No, then I would say that lights also make some images in that whole frame of the stage. To me, dimension is there. The form of beam and the shape of beam and the angle the beam is making. So I think that would be what it would be. And Gaurav, when I say poetry in lighting design, see, it does not have to be realistic. It does not have to be very beautiful. But when it flows, as the poetry comes out with the content, it is more to come out with the content. Whereas, with realistic effect, I've used a word plausible. Plausible, by plausible, I'm meaning that it's believable. So it's that believable experience which is more important. But with believable, it has to be poetic. You are saying the same thing, but with थोड़ी कंजूसी के साथ, जैसे आप पोइट्री में कहते हैं, और शब्दों के कई मीनिंग होते हैं. आई थिंक आई हैव टेकन यू टू दैट. Well, modern lighting in theater, Vijay Shukla, we are on to a point. If this lockout wasn't there, you would have seen within 6 months we were on to a major change in lighting format, because the new sources coming, the LED will really take over, because power has to be saved. So modern technology will always keep changing, and it will always be modern. Theater, there's another beauty of theater. It is there when it is happening. After that, it's a story. When it is happening and it is live. That's why we say that theater is a live medium. So I think that would really cover it up. I'll not comment about other productions. Everyone does a great work, and I'm not here to be judgmental or any production. So Mughal-e-Azam was a great work. It was a work on a different track, and I'll not get into that, please. Event lighting, you have a beautification, but in theater lighting, it has to be poetry. It has to be the subtext, whereas event subtext would be very less. It has to be about the brightness, about the effect of light. So that becomes very important. I've already I have already talked about shifting to LED light. That's coming. You cannot stop it. That's there. Well, Jaydev is asking, did you follow the director's instruction, or wanted your director use the light design and design for the play? Jaydev, it's a very, very important question. The director is the captain of the ship. He has to really take whatever you are saying, that whatever he is saying has to be finalized. But he has hired you as a designer. So here I will slightly elaborate. Whenever someone invites me to do designs for his play, I really think and ask myself why he's calling me. Because every production gives me three things. They may vary in degree, and I decide what I am having more. It gives me name, fame, it gives me job satisfaction, it gives me money. So this, I really think that what I'll get where and what I'll get more. So accordingly, I work on it. Now, intelligent lighting, I don't mean intelligent lights, but intelligently executed design. That's very important. Vijay, it's your second question also. So I'm coming to Rahul. How you see painting? Oh, well, painting has been the best teacher. Paintings will always remain your best teacher whenever you want to talk about lights. Priyanka Sharma, relationship between actor and lights, very important, but anything else actor should know. Priyanka, it's very important to know how light is reacting on your face. Once you have known that, and once you have known it, so automatically the relationship would be stronger. Kadam, Sagarji is asking, Any funny moment in lighting design? Well, yeah, so many, so many. Those for some other times when you sit. Even that story I had told about Bajaj was half. As we are moving that rod again and again, finally the rod came out and I gave it to Mr. Bajaj and said, Ki, sir, whatever I could do, I've done. Now you do it. So we had this funny discussion later on also. Then this is where I understood. And then as I use the word visual adaptation, what happens? Anything, because intensity of light is on to the position of the pupil of your eye. So as you see something bright for a longer time, your pupil adjusts to it. And when it has adjusted to it, it seems it's less. So now whenever there is a long scene, bright scene, I'll never do it 100%. I'll do it 80%. And during the scene, I go on increasing light after some time. And when I'm doing a dim scene, which I want to play low, say I want to play it at 20%, I'll start with 40%. And during the course of the scene, I'll reduce it slightly and reach that point of 20%. I don't know how long we are to go further. Jaidev, I think whenever you think we have to finish, please come in and let us know. Need to show your practical session. Okay, that's something, Seth, you'll have to be in touch with me. Sure, you can arrange. I'll certainly be pleased to do it. I'll certainly be very pleased to do it. Well, I have the call. Yes, yes, now we end the session. Yeah, tell me. Okay, so now we end the session. Thank you very much. I love you all. Hello, hello. Yeah, tell me. Eh? Huh? Well, they are continuing. I have some questions. Oh my God, Dolly's also there online. Dolly, love you, dear. You know it. Dolly was my batchmate, a great support also. Learned a lot from her, I mean. Love you, Dolly. Yeah, I am continuing. You want me to continue, no? Okay. Yes, tell me. Okay. The lighting is here to will. Thank you, Amod. Thanks, Via. I think everyone is saying thanks now. So I think this is where we end. Yeah, I'm on your phone. You want me to continue? Okay, okay. Well, Rakesh Bedi, oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Rakesh Bedi ji. I loved your comments. Thank you. Yeah, anyone has any question? I just received a call from Jaidev. He says that we can go on with the session. What you take on console? My take on console? Well, I'm always open to that. Whatever and wherever I get whatever console, I work on it. And that's since very long time. Here the consoles came later, but I was doing, lot many foreign productions. Before joining NSD as faculty, I was rather more on to the to foreign tours. So I'm always open to any and every console. I have no preference. In today's New Year, light designers, operators are asking, any numbers of lights? Well, I would not limit myself to any number. at present, the situation, what is future of our industry? Dinesh is asking me about future. See, Dinesh, we have two futures. One future because of the corona. Uh, well, uh, I know we'll come out of it, but it is going to take a real long time as it appears. And to me, theater is actually the crowd reaction. The greatest energy in theater is that visually when we communicate to each other and the reaction of someone sitting very close to me. To me, it's very important when his body touches me. So this is what we have felt around the world. So this will take at least 2 to 3 years. And by that time, as I said, that we should make our nets, will have to be more vibrant. Whenever theater comes back, it comes back more vibrant. We'll have to polish our art more and more. It's not about equipment. It's now about intelligent lighting. By intelligent lighting, I'm not meaning the instruments. I am meaning that what I am doing at the level of thought, why and how I am using. It may be a very simple light, but it has to be effective. It has to be communicative. We have to go beyond that level of magic. So thanks. Now, which is the best lighting supply? I'm not here to promote anyone commercially, so no commercial questions. Everyone is good. Every lighting supplier is good. Whichever lights you like and which will solve your purpose. Technically, see, when you, Rakesh, I'm coming to your question. When you theater space, well, if you read the history of theater properly, then you will come to know that theaters were modifying, and it is a place where you look for possibilities for the script, possibility for your action and what you're thinking. So, every theater has to be good for the production you are planning. It's more on the production and the way you are planning your production. It cannot be limited to this particular theater or that particular theater. Likewise, well, the Kingdom of Dreams. Kingdom of Dreams has its own quality, and that's a perfect theater for its reason. The reason it has to serve. Maheshji, thank you very much for your comments. I have nothing much to respond in that. In amateur theater, we don't have much of resource. Resource always will be a problem. Even when you say today, when I'm doing lighting, I need more and more resource. So Sudhir, it's more of thinking. How do you use your limited resource is the beauty of theater. So it is more to use that way. Thank you, Bansi Bhai. Thank you for being there. Your being there has always been a player, and it has always been my driving force. I thank you for all that you have taught me. Thank you, Bansi Bhai. Thank you for being there. My favorite theater, well, all theaters. I love them all. All theaters have something good. All theaters have something bad. So I have really loved performing in whatever theater I have got opportunity to. Yes, I like the smaller theaters, and well, I like the multiple spaces. I would say yes, circulation unit of NSD, what you call Bahumuk also. I love that. That is Godeon. Gideon. I can't pronounce it properly, so please forgive me. I am coming to your question. Can we replace Chinese sound and lights? Well, it's your decision. When you say we are using profile, Chinese profile. Chinese profile, that some people call it the degree light also, which is a copy of ETC's source force. So quality wise, they are very bad, but we are going for cheap lights. So we have to really see that how much we are. That is something to do with economics, and one can never answer that. Replacing them would be one, a nationalist feeling, or if we can somehow find a replacement in our country. But to find replacement in our country, we'll have to go for a mass production. You know, Chinese, it's a communist capitalist country. So one person is producing one particular thing, and lot many companies are selling the same thing. So production cost is very less. I don't know where and how can we reach that. That some commercial people can tell you. I cannot. Vijay, I have loved all my plays. All my plays were great. So I have loved and I was satisfied, because otherwise I quietly say, sorry, I'm busy. Now I work for the place, and the directors, only those directors call me who really want something from me, and they give me that kind of satisfaction. Otherwise, I would quote a lot of money and I'm out of that. Okay. We want to limited budget. Uh, this cannot be suggested like that. One will have to see your what is the area. And you know, Priyanka, there I always say, go for a massive wiring. You know, have 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 multiple source possibility, because to me possibility is a very important word in theater. So you go for maximum possibilities, and well, with fun you can go on adding light, because adding light is say okay, free thousands, but wiring it becomes more of problematic. Dimmers also, the rack can go on increasing. So it's more of wiring and possibilities. When you create a good auditorium, you must create lot of possibilities. Equipment will join in. So possibilities is most important. Uh, well, uh, again, again, I am back to uh, Gid- Gidon. I am. Please forgive my pronunciation. Wrong thing. Uh, well, I've already said that. There are other other sources also from you where you can get good lights. Uh, it will on to us wherever we get good lights. Yeah, tell me. Hello. I think now we must. Hello. Yeah, tell me. Okay, okay. I think I virtually answered most of the questions, and there's none more. So thank you all. I think now I should say goodbye. It was a real good session. Thank you for being there. I think I loved it, and I loved the session. I think I could answer most of your queries. Thank you very much. Love you all.